Chapter 1: The Awakening. The dawn was unusually quiet on the coast of Japan. The horizon, usually adorned with a soft blush of early morning light, seemed to tremble under a surreal silence. Far beneath the calm surface of the Pacific, deep within the abyss, an ancient force stirred, a force that had slumbered for millennia, waiting for the precise moment to reclaim its dominion. In a small coastal town, fishermen were the first to sense that something was off. Their nets, usually teeming with life, returned empty and tangled as if the sea itself had rejected its bounty. A low, almost imperceptible rumble echoed from the deep, a vibration that resonated to the very bones of the earth. At first, the locals dismissed it as nothing more than a natural quiver, a mere tremor from the shifting tectonic plates. But soon, the whispers of unease spread like wildfire. Dr. Akira Hayashi, a dedicated marine geologist and cryptozoologist, had been studying unusual seismic patterns for months. Late one evening, as he pored over data in his modest laboratory overlooking the coastline, a sudden spike in activity sent shivers down his spine. The instruments recorded a sequence of deep, rhythmic pulses that seemed to be emanating from the ocean floor. He knew, deep within his scientific intuition, that something monumental was awakening. Without delay, Dr. Hayashi gathered his research notes and made his way to the nearest observation post on the beach. The salty air was heavy with anticipation as he stood at the water's edge. The sea, still dark and mysterious, began to churn violently as if disturbed by an unseen hand. In the distance, the silhouette of something massive and unmistakable emerged, a colossal shape rising slowly from the depths. As the first light of dawn illuminated the towering figure, the impossible became evident. It was Godzilla, the legendary titan of the deep, now reawakened from a slumber that spanned eons. His massive, scaled body glistened with seawater, and his eyes, glowing with an ancient intelligence, surveyed the shore with a mixture of curiosity and ancient purpose. Each thunderous step he took reverberated like the pulse of the earth itself, shaking the foundations of nearby buildings and sending ripples of panic through the hearts of those who witnessed the spectacle. On the shoreline, chaos erupted. Locals and tourists scrambled to find safety as emergency sirens blared in the distance. The military was quick to mobilize. Tanks rumbled toward the coast, and helicopters buzzed overhead like angry hornets. Lieutenant Naomi Sato, a seasoned officer with unwavering resolve, coordinated her team amidst the mounting pressure. Her eyes, reflecting both duty and a reluctant awe, followed Godzilla's progress as he advanced slowly along the beach. Yet, despite the military's might and the frenzy of modern weaponry, every missile that streaked through the sky and every explosive detonation seemed to merely irritate the ancient beast rather than deter him. Godzilla's skin, as resilient as the very rocks that formed the ocean bed, absorbed the blows with an almost indifferent grace. In those first moments, the creature was not a mindless force of destruction, but an elemental manifestation of nature's enduring power. In the days that followed, the news spread across the globe like wildfire. Major cities held their collective breath, unsure what this colossal emergence meant for humanity. Scientists, military strategists, and even ordinary citizens watched with bated breath as the Titan's every move was documented by a network of satellites and news outlets. For many, Godzilla represented the embodiment of nature's wrath, a stark reminder that mankind's dominion over the earth was both fragile and temporary. Back in his lab, Dr. Hayashi's mind raced with both excitement and trepidation. His years of research, the countless theories that once seemed like wild fantasies, were suddenly gaining a tangible, awe-inspiring form. He recalled ancient legends and myths that spoke of a great guardian, a titan who would arise in humanity's darkest hour. Was it possible that this was not an act of aggression, but rather a signal, a warning, or even an invitation for humanity to re-examine its place in the natural order? While the military strategized and governments convened emergency sessions, a young journalist named Mika Tanaka embarked on a journey of her own. Driven by a relentless desire to uncover the truth, she ventured closer to the unfolding epicenter of the event, with her camera in hand and determination in her heart. Mika sought to capture not just the chaos of the moment, but the raw, unfiltered essence of an awakening that defied all human expectations. In a fleeting moment of stillness amid the turmoil, as Godzilla paused on a rocky outcrop overlooking the tumultuous sea, a deep, resonant roar filled the air, a roar that spoke of ancient memories, of primordial battles, and of an earth that had seen empires rise and fall. It was a sound that transcended language, a call from the past that demanded respect, fear, and perhaps a sliver of hope. As humanity stood on the brink of an uncertain future, the awakening of Godzilla was a stark reminder of nature's enduring power, a force that could not be tamed, only revered. And so, in the midst of chaos and despair, a seed of wonder was planted. For in that first awe-inspiring moment, it became clear that this was not merely the rise of a monster. It was a resurgence of legend, a herald of change that would forever alter the course of history. Thus began the epic saga Godzilla's Adventures, a tale of ancient prophecies, heroic struggles, and the unyielding spirit of life itself. The journey had only just begun, and with every step that the Titan took, the world was destined to change in ways that no one could have foreseen. Chapter 2: The Titan's Path. As the sun rose higher in the sky, the colossal figure Godzilla began his slow, purposeful march inland. The earth trembled with each mighty step, sending shockwaves through both the natural world and the scattered remnants of the coastal town. Amidst the chaos, the path taken by the Titan seemed almost deliberate, a route carved through forests, abandoned farmlands, and crumbling urban outskirts. It was as if Godzilla himself was drawn towards something beyond simple instinct. Dr. Akira Hayashi, still reeling from the dramatic awakening, raced to collect further data on this unprecedented event. Determined to understand the mysterious creature's motives, he set out along the devastated coastline. With every mile he covered, his instruments recorded not only seismic activity, but also subtle shifts in the Earth's magnetic fields, a phenomenon that suggested Godzilla's journey was linked to something deep within the planet's core. The natural world appeared to be reacting to the Titan's passage. Birds took to the sky in vast, chaotic flocks, and the wind carried the scent of brine and ancient earth. In small villages abandoned in the wake of the monster's approach, villagers whispered legends passed down through generations. Tales of an ancient guardian, once revered as both protector and harbinger of change, began to take shape against the backdrop of the unfolding crisis. Meanwhile, in a hastily assembled command center on the outskirts of the affected region, Lieutenant Naomi Sato and her military team struggled to adapt to the rapidly evolving situation. The initial aim of containing Godzilla had given way to a more uncertain objective: understanding his movements. Strategic maps and satellite images were scrutinized as analysts tried to predict the Titan's next steps. Naomi, once a steadfast believer in conventional warfare, now found herself questioning if the monstrous force before them was truly an enemy or a misunderstood part of Earth's ancient balance. Along the abandoned highways, Mika Tanaka, her camera clutched tightly in hand, documented the devastation and the strange calm that seemed to settle in the immediate wake of Godzilla's steps. Every abandoned storefront, every broken sign, and every silent street told a story of sudden disruption, a story that might later be pieced together to reveal the Titan's deeper significance. Mika's determination to capture the truth was driven by a sense that this was not merely a random act of nature, but the beginning of an epic saga that transcended time. As Godzilla's path led him deeper into the heart of the countryside, ancient stone markers and weathered statues emerged from the undergrowth, remnants of civilizations long past. Dr. Hayashi paused before one such relic, a massive stone carving that depicted a figure remarkably similar to Godzilla, entwined with symbols of the earth and sky. In that quiet, reflective moment, he realized that the Titan's journey was steeped in myth and history. The creature was not only a force of destruction, but also a living embodiment of a prophecy foretold by ancient cultures. The journey was as symbolic as it was literal, a pathway leading toward the unknown. Every step Godzilla took reverberated with the weight of history, carrying potential to redefine humanity's understanding of nature and its own place within it. While the world's governments scrambled to formulate responses and debates raged over military strategies, those who truly sought knowledge began to see that this was a pivotal moment, a crossroads where the past met the present, and where the future of the Earth hung in a delicate balance. Thus, as Godzilla continued along his mysterious route, it became clear that his path was not one of random destruction, but a guided march toward an uncertain destiny. The stage was set for revelations that would intertwine ancient prophecies, the raw power of nature, and the intricate dance between humanity and the titanic forces that roamed the earth. Chapter 3: The First Encounter. As Godzilla's colossal form advanced deeper into the territory, the contrast between nature's fury and human determination became ever more pronounced. In a wide, open plain where the wilderness met scattered clusters of abandoned farms, the military finally caught up with the Titan. Lieutenant Naomi Sato, resolute and battle-hardened, led her team into position, their high-tech weaponry and armored vehicles arrayed, like a phalanx against an impossible adversary. The atmosphere was electric with tension. Orders crackled over radios, and anxious eyes tracked every move of the gargantuan beast. As Godzilla paused momentarily at the edge of the field, its eyes fixed on a human formation, an eerie silence fell over both sides. It was as if time itself had slowed, the world holding its breath for the inevitable clash. Without warning, a flurry of missiles streaked across the sky. The explosions rocked the earth, yet Godzilla moved with an unhurried grace. Each barrage seemed to be absorbed by his ancient, resilient hide. In a dramatic display of raw power, he retaliated, not with blind aggression, but with measured, almost deliberate force. A seismic shockwave radiated outward with every step he took, toppling trees and sending shockwaves rippling through the ground. Lieutenant Sato's instincts battled between orders to engage and a dawning realization that conventional combat tactics might prove futile. Amid the chaos, her eyes met those of a solitary soldier who, in a fleeting moment of shared understanding, wondered if the creature before them was merely an enemy, or perhaps a misunderstood guardian of a long-forgotten age. While the military clashed with the unstoppable force of nature, another figure moved stealthily into the unfolding drama. Mika Tanaka, armed with nothing but her camera and an unquenchable thirst for the truth, edged closer to the front line. Through the lens of her camera, she captured not only the devastation and the might of Godzilla's presence, but also subtle signs of hesitation. A glance, a pause in the Titan's march, that hinted at deeper layers of purpose behind the beast's actions. Amid the barrage of missiles and the roar of explosions, a silent dialogue seemed to pass between Godzilla and humans. The Titan's eyes, deep and ancient, conveyed a mixture of warning and melancholy. It was as if he bore the weight of countless years, carrying secrets of eras when the earth was young and wild. His powerful yet measured response to the human assault resonated like an echo from the past, a call to reconsider the true nature of power, destruction, and protection. In that chaotic intersection of man and monster, Dr. Akira Hayashi, who had rushed to the scene with his instruments in tow, observed every nuance with scientific curiosity. His data indicated that the seismic energy unleashed by Godzilla was unlike anything recorded before, an energy pulse that seemed to harmonize with the very heartbeat of the planet. For him, the first encounter was not a simple battle. It was an intricate dance between evolution and human progress, nature's wrath and its ancient wisdom. As the clash reached its crescendo, the battlefield became a canvas painted with the raw, unpredictable forces of nature and technology. The encounter left both sides changed, marked by the realization that in the wake of Godzilla's emergence, the boundaries between friend and foe, nature and civilization, were no longer clearly defined. The first encounter was over, but its implications echoed far beyond the moment, setting the stage for an epic saga that would challenge the very foundations of humanity's understanding of its place in the world. Chapter 4: Secrets Beneath the Waves. In the aftermath of the initial clash, as military forces regrouped and the world's eyes fixated on the unfolding crisis, Dr. Akira Hayashi retreated to the quiet solitude of his seaside laboratory. Determined to uncover the origins of the colossal titan, he pored over ancient manuscripts and weathered maps recovered from long-forgotten ruins. His research hinted at a mystery deeper than mere geological phenomena, a mystery interwoven with myth, legend, and the very heartbeat of the earth. Late one evening, as the gentle hum of seismic monitors filled the lab, Dr. Hayashi discovered a tattered scroll hidden within a collection of relics. The delicate parchment bore cryptic symbols and illustrations that bore an uncanny resemblance to Godzilla's imposing silhouette. The images depicted a ritualistic connection between the Titan and the ocean's depths, suggesting that Godzilla was not merely an agent of chaos, but a guardian born from an ancient pact between the earth and its primordial creatures. Compelled by this discovery, Dr. Hayashi organized an expedition to a remote underwater cave system off the coast, a site whispered about in local legends as the heart of the sea. Accompanied by a small team of divers and equipped with state-of-the-art submersible technology, he plunged into the deep blue. As they navigated narrow passageways illuminated by the eerie glow of bioluminescent marine life, the team uncovered intricate carvings on the cavern walls. These depictions told stories of an ancient civilization that revered a great protector, a living embodiment of nature's might, who would awaken in times of peril. Deep within a labyrinthine cave, the divers encountered a massive underwater chamber filled with colossal stone statues and relics. At its center lay a towering obelisk engraved with inscriptions that chronicled an age when Titans ruled the earth. The obelisk carvings narrated a cycle, a time when cosmic disturbances would awaken these ancient beings to restore balance whenever humanity's greed threatened the planet's fragile harmony. Back on the surface, news of Dr. Hayashi's expedition rippled through scientific circles and the media alike. Mika Tanaka, ever persistent, managed to secure an exclusive report on the expedition. Her articles captivated the public's imagination, fusing modern science with the mystique of ancient lore. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Naomi Sato faced mounting pressure from political leaders who demanded swift action. Yet, even she couldn't ignore the weight of these revelations. If Godzilla was indeed tied to the Earth's ancient guardianship, then the ongoing conflict might be less about pure destruction and more about a call to restore forgotten balance. As the tide of events surged forward, Dr. Hayashi's findings sparked heated debates among experts worldwide. Could it be that the legendary Titan was not the enemy humanity had assumed him to be, but a sentinel, awakened to avert a disaster that transcended the mundane conflicts of modern warfare? The discovery of these secrets beneath the waves would ultimately challenge the very foundations of human understanding, urging all to reconsider their place in the intricate tapestry of nature. In that moment, as ancient prophecies whispered to the murmur of ocean currents and the modern world reeled from the shock of the awakening, one thing became clear. The truth lay hidden in the deep, waiting to be unearthed by those bold enough to follow the call of the ancient tides. Chapter 5. The Rise of the Kaiju. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of red and orange, a new and ominous energy began to stir in the depths of the ocean. The seismic disturbances recorded by Dr. Hayashi's instruments grew more erratic, and reports from across the globe hinted at an unsettling phenomenon. Godzilla was no longer alone. In a remote, coastal region far from the familiar battlegrounds, fishermen and coastal residents started to witness strange occurrences. Mysterious shadows moved beneath the surface, and enormous shapes glided silently through the inky water. These were not mere echoes of a solitary titan's emergence. They were the awakening of other kaiju, creatures of myth and legend that had long been whispered about in ancient lore. Dr. Hayashi, still reeling from his recent discoveries beneath the waves, now found himself at the center of a burgeoning mystery. His research indicated that Godzilla's reawakening might have served as a catalyst for the reemergence of his long-dormant kin. The ancient texts hinted at a time when these titanic beings would rise together, driven by a cosmic cycle that dictated both creation and destruction. With each passing tremor, the possibility of encountering these colossal creatures grew ever more real. In bustling urban centers and quiet coastal hamlets alike, citizens watched in terror and awe as news outlets broadcast images of massive silhouettes emerging from the depths. One such creature, a serpentine behemoth with multiple glistening eyes and wings that shimmered like obsidian, was spotted near a historic harbor, its presence both majestic and terrifying. Another giant, whose massive, armored body resembled that of a prehistoric reptile, made its way through a dense forest, leaving a trail of uprooted trees and scorched earth in its wake. Lieutenant Naomi Sato and her military team, already burdened with the chaos of Godzilla's march, were now forced to confront an entirely new threat. Orders to engage the Titan had evolved into frantic attempts to track and contain the spread of these mysterious kaiju. Yet, with each encounter, the traditional tools of modern warfare seemed increasingly ineffective. The creatures moved with natural grace and resilience that defied all human engineering. Meanwhile, Mika Tanaka continued her relentless pursuit of truth, with her camera capturing every unfolding moment. She journeyed to the sites of these unexpected appearances. In her interviews with frightened locals and astonished scientists, a recurring theme emerged: a shared, almost primal belief that these monsters were not solely agents of destruction, but ancient guardians awakened by forces far beyond human understanding. Some whispered that the kaiju were a natural counterbalance, summoned to restore equilibrium to a world on the brink of ecological collapse. Back at his laboratory, Dr. Hayashi meticulously compared the new seismic data with the ancient inscriptions he had uncovered. The patterns revealed a striking symmetry. Just as ancient civilizations had revered these titans as protectors against cosmic threats, the modern Earth now seemed to be summoning them as its final line of defense. Each kaiju, with its unique form and mysterious abilities, appeared to be woven into a grand design, a design that spanned millennia and bridged the realms of myth and reality. As night fell, the landscape was bathed in the eerie glow of fires and emergency lights. In this charged atmosphere, humanity stood at the precipice of an unprecedented chapter in its history. The rise of the kaiju was more than a battle between man and monster. It was the awakening of an ancient order, a reminder that the Earth was home to forces that transcended human control. The stage was now set for an epic confrontation, with the old world crumbling and a new, mysterious cycle beginning. Every heartbeat echoed with both fear and hope. The rise of the kaiju was not just a signal of imminent peril, but a profound call for humanity to rediscover its place within the vast, interwoven tapestry of life and legend. Chapter 6: The Ancient Prophecy. In the days following the chaotic emergence of the kaiju, whispers of an age-old prophecy began to circulate among scholars, mystics, and those attuned to the ancient lore of the land. Deep in a secluded library tucked away in a forgotten corner of Kyoto, Dr. Akira Hayashi discovered a dusty manuscript. Its pages fragile, yet filled with cryptic symbols and poetic verses. This text, passed down through generations, foretold a time when the Earth would call forth its ancient guardians to restore balance amid an overwhelming threat. The prophecy spoke of a celestial alignment, a rare convergence of cosmic energies that would awaken not only one titan, but an entire pantheon of ancient protectors. According to the manuscript, these beings were not random forces of nature, but were chosen by the Earth itself to intervene when humanity's recklessness pushed the world toward oblivion. The text hinted at a dire cosmic conflict, where the titans would face not only each other, but also a mysterious enemy from the stars, a force capable of annihilating life as it was known. Compelled by the implications of the prophecy, Dr. Hayashi set out to cross-reference the ancient text with the data gathered from recent seismic and magnetic anomalies. Late into the night, his lab was illuminated solely by the glow of computer screens and the flickering light of a solitary desk lamp. With every comparison, a pattern emerged. The awakening of Godzilla and his kin seemed to align with celestial events documented centuries ago. The rhythm of the Earth's pulse, the surge in cosmic radiation, and even the migration patterns of certain marine species all converged toward this singular moment of reckoning. Meanwhile, Mika Tanaka, following her own trail of clues from interviews and old family records, uncovered a series of local legends that spoke of a great convergence. In these oral histories, elders recounted tales of previous epochs when the titans emerged from the depths, not as harbingers of destruction, but as divine emissaries sent to guide humanity through its darkest hours. Mika's investigation revealed that some communities even revered these creatures as living embodiments of nature's enduring spirit, a stark contrast to the panic reports portrayed by mainstream media. At the same time, Lieutenant Naomi Sato found herself increasingly conflicted. While she continued to coordinate military operations with tactical precision, her encounters with civilians and the haunting beauty of untouched landscapes forced her to question the simple binary of friend versus foe. Was it possible that Godzilla and his kin were not mere monsters to be eradicated, but ancient custodians awakening in response to an existential crisis? As these three perspectives, scientific inquiry, historical legend, and military strategy, began to intersect, the world slowly started to grasp the magnitude of the cosmic design unfolding before them. The prophecy did not simply warn of destruction. It also promised redemption through sacrifice and unity. It suggested that the Titans, through their struggle, would pave the way for a new era where humanity could learn to coexist with the raw, unbridled forces of nature. In a hushed tone laden with both hope and foreboding, Dr. Hayashi recorded his findings in a series of urgent notes. The ancient prophecy had become more than just an echo of the past. It was a call to action, urging humanity to prepare for an imminent cosmic conflict that would test the very limits of survival. And as the night deepened, a single, unyielding thought resonated through his mind. The awakening of the Titans was not the end, but the beginning of a profound transformation, one that would forever alter the destiny of Earth and its inhabitants. Chapter 7. Kara's Revelation. In the midst of growing chaos and cosmic portents, a new figure emerged from the shadows of myth, a woman known only as Kara. Clad in garments that seemed woven from ancient lore and timeless mystery, Kara appeared at a secluded coastal outpost where Dr. Hayashi had been studying the newly decoded fragments of the ancient prophecy. Her presence was both ethereal and commanding, as if she were the living embodiment of the secrets buried in Earth's long-forgotten past. Dr. Hayashi recalled whispers of a legend describing a guardian of the old ways, an enigmatic figure believed to possess the knowledge of the Titan's true origins. When Kara stepped forward, her eyes alight with an otherworldly glow, it became evident that these legends were more than mere myth. With calm assurance, she explained that she was the last descendant of an ancient race, one entrusted with safeguarding the wisdom of the earth and the true purpose behind the Titan's existence. Sitting together in a quiet room lined with relics and scrolls, Kara revealed fragments of forgotten history. Long ago, before humanity had learned to harness its own power, her people had forged a bond with the Titans. Godzilla, in particular, was not simply a creature of instinct. He was a carefully crafted guardian, imbued with the power to awaken when the balance of nature teetered on the brink of collapse. Kara's voice, soft yet filled with urgency, painted a picture of cosmic cycles and celestial alignments that dictated the rise and fall of civilizations. As she spoke, Mika Tanaka, who had been following the unfolding events with relentless determination, listened intently, her notebook filled with hurried sketches and observations. Kara described how the ancient text foretold of a time when the Earth's guardians would be needed once more to counter a threat from beyond the stars. The Titans were not harbingers of doom, but were summoned as protectors, meant to restore harmony in the face of overwhelming cosmic imbalance. For Lieutenant Naomi Sato, Kara's revelations were a revelation that transcended conventional military logic. Here was an explanation for the seemingly inexplicable behavior of the Titans, a hint that their destructive power might be a desperate bid to protect the very planet that had nurtured them. Though duty still called her to uphold the safety of humanity, Naomi found herself re-examining her role in a world where ancient wisdom might hold the key to survival. In that charged moment of shared understanding, Kara entrusted Dr. Hayashi with a crucial piece of ancient wisdom, a map etched on a weathered stone tablet, leading to a hidden sanctuary where the secrets of the Titans were preserved. This sanctuary, known as Eternal Nexus, was said to hold not only the origins of Godzilla and his kin, but also the means to restore balance in a time of cosmic strife. With Kara's revelation, the paths of science, military strategy, and myth converged. The ancient guardian's words resonated like a call to arms, urging those who would listen to embrace a broader perspective of the world's unfolding destiny. As the night deepened and the distant roar of titanic forces echoed over the horizon, humanity stood on the cusp of a new understanding, one where the legends of old were not relics of a bygone era, but the guiding light for the future. Thus, with the map in hand and the weight of prophecy heavy upon their shoulders, Dr. Hayashi, Lieutenant Sato, and Mika Tanaka embarked on a quest to uncover the secrets of the Eternal Nexus, hoping that within its ancient walls lay the key to uniting humanity with the Titanic Guardians in the ultimate battle for Earth's destiny. Chapter 8. The Hidden City. Driven by Kara's revelations and the ancient map etched on stone, Dr. Hayashi, Lieutenant Sato, and Mika Tanaka set off on a treacherous journey to locate the fabled Eternal Nexus. Their quest led them to the depths of an uncharted ocean trench, where legend had long spoken a hidden city, an underwater realm that held the secrets of the Titans. Navigating treacherous currents aboard a specially outfitted submersible, the trio descended into the abyss. As the light of the surface faded away, the deep blue transformed into an otherworldly realm of darkness punctuated by the ethereal glow of bioluminescent creatures. Every instrument on board hummed with life as they approached what appeared to be an ancient structure carved into the ocean floor. The hidden city revealed itself like a mirage, a sprawling complex of stone temples, towering statues and intricate mosaics, all swallowed by the sea over millennia. Enormous arches and columns bore symbols reminiscent of the ones Kara had described, each telling tales of celestial alignments and cosmic battles. It was clear that this was no ordinary ruin, but a sanctuary built by a civilization that had once communed with the Titanic guardians. Inside one of the grand temples, the walls were adorned with detailed frescoes that depicted the origins of Godzilla and his kin. In these images, the Titans were portrayed not as mindless beasts, but as revered protectors, sent by the earth to restore balance during times of great peril. The artful depictions intertwined scenes of divine intervention with the daily life of an ancient people, suggesting a harmonious coexistence with nature that had been lost to modern times. As the team ventured deeper into the labyrinthine passages of the hidden city, they discovered a chamber filled with an ancient energy that seemed to pulse with the very heartbeat of the earth. In the center of the room, an enormous crystalline structure radiated light in mesmerizing patterns, casting dancing shadows on the carved stone walls. Dr. Hayashi's instruments registered a unique energy signature, one that resonated with the seismic pulses of Godzilla and hinted at a deep, mystical connection between the Titan and this long-forgotten metropolis. Mika, ever the observing chronicler, meticulously documented every detail, her camera capturing images that would soon ignite global curiosity and challenge the established narratives of monster legends. Lieutenant Sato, her skepticism tempered by the overwhelming evidence of a once glorious civilization, began to appreciate the possibility that humanity had much to learn from these ancient guardians. In that silent, submerged sanctuary, the trio felt the weight of history and destiny converge. The hidden city was more than just a repository of lost lore. It was a testament to an era when mankind and the titanic forces of nature had shared a profound, symbiotic bond. Here, the secrets of the eternal nexus lay waiting, promising insights into how the Titans could guide the future of a world teetering on the brink of cosmic upheaval. As they prepared to explore further, a subtle vibration reverberated through the chamber, a rhythmic pulse that mirrored the heartbeat of the ancient city. It was as if the sanctuary itself was alive, eager to impart its secrets to those willing to listen. With renewed determination and a sense of awe, Dr. Hayashi, Lieutenant Sato, and Mika Tanaka braced themselves for the revelations that the hidden city was destined to unveil. Chapter 9. The Mysterious Entity. Deep within the labyrinth of the hidden city, as the trio continued to decipher cryptic inscriptions and study the luminous crystalline structure, an unexpected disturbance shattered the eerie calm. The gentle, rhythmic pulse that had once harmonized with the heartbeat of the ancient sanctuary suddenly quickened, as though responding to an external summons. Dr. Hayashi, standing before a massive mural depicting celestial battles, felt a chill run down his spine, a premonition that something entirely unknown was drawing near. In a secluded corridor of the submerged complex, a door of weathered stone slid open on its own accord, revealing a hidden chamber bathed in ethereal, pulsating light. Reluctantly, the team stepped inside. The walls of the chamber were inscribed with unfamiliar symbols that glowed with a color not found in any earthly palette, a deep, shifting violet that seemed to ripple with an almost sentient awareness. At the center of this enigmatic room hovered a mysterious entity, its form defying conventional description. It was neither fully solid nor entirely ethereal. It shimmered between dimensions as if it existed simultaneously in multiple realms. This spectral being radiated an energy that was both captivating and unnerving, a blend of beauty and foreboding that hinted at a power far beyond human comprehension. The entity's presence resonated with the ancient energy of the city, yet was distinctly alien, evoking visions of cosmic battles and distant galaxies. Mika Tanaka's camera trembled in her hands as she attempted to capture the phenomenon, her instincts warning her that every moment spent observing could reveal a secret or unleash unforeseen consequences. Lieutenant Naomi Sato, ever vigilant, had her weapon drawn, yet she paused, struck by the realization that this was not a conventional threat. The entity did not emanate aggression. Instead, it exuded a quiet intensity, as if it were communicating a dire message without words. Dr. Hayashi, drawn to the entity by a mix of scientific curiosity and profound sense of destiny, stepped forward cautiously. His mind raced as he recalled the ancient texts and prophecies they had studied. Could this mysterious being be the cosmic catalyst that the ancient civilization had once revered? The inscriptions on the chamber walls suggested that the spectral presence was intertwined with the very fabric of creation, a guardian or perhaps a herald of a cosmic event that would test the limits of Earth's resilience. The entity pulsed brighter for a moment, and then, in a display of inexplicable energy, a series of visions flooded Dr. Hayashi's mind. He saw images of vast interstellar conflicts, of stars collapsing and new worlds being born. In these fleeting glimpses, he understood that the entity was more than a mere observer. It was a sentinel from a distant corner of the universe, sent to monitor the fragile balance between creation and destruction on Earth. It bore a warning. An extraterrestrial force, lurking in the shadows of space, was poised to exploit the chaos unleashed by the Titan's awakening. The realization sent shockwaves through the hidden sanctuary. The ancient civilization had not only foreseen the rise of the Titans, but had also prophesied an interstellar menace, a threat that could eclipse the terrestrial conflicts. The mysterious entity, therefore, was both a messenger and a protector, bridging the gap between the ancient past and a perilous cosmic future. As the vision subsided, the spectral presence slowly receded, leaving behind a lingering aura of urgency and mystery. The team stood in silence, each processing the magnitude of what they had witnessed. In that moment, the hidden city transformed from a relic of ancient wisdom into a beacon of impending change, a nexus where the fate of Earth was inexorably linked with the cosmic forces beyond. Determined to unravel the full extent of this revelation, Dr. Hayashi, Lieutenant Sato, and Mika Tanaka resolved to document every detail of the encounter. They knew that understanding this mysterious entity and the extraterrestrial threat it heralded would be crucial in preparing for the challenges ahead. The balance of the Earth, it seemed, was not only at stake from within its own depths, but also from the vast, uncharted expanses of the cosmos. Thus, as the chamber's light dimmed and the echoes of ancient prophecies mingled with the quiet hum of otherworldly energy, the stage was set for the next chapter in the saga, a cosmic conflict that would test the bonds between humanity, its ancient guardians, and the boundless universe beyond. Chapter 10, The Battle for Survival. The revelations from a hidden city and the spectral encounter sent shockwaves throughout the scientific and military communities. As dawn broke over a scarred landscape, the world stood at the threshold of a battle that was as much cosmic as it was terrestrial. The ancient prophecy, the mysterious entity, and the awakening of multiple titanic beings converged into a singular, fateful moment. The battle for survival had begun. From the depth of the ocean, Godzilla emerged once again, this time with an aura of determined purpose. His eyes, which had witnessed the slow march of eons, now burned with an intensity that spoke of a mission beyond mere survival. Alongside him, other kaiju, each unique in form and power, assembled in silent ranks. They were not mere agents of chaos. They had become the Earth's reluctant champions against an impending extraterrestrial menace. High above the tumult, fighter jets roared into the skies, their mission now transformed from engaging monsters to supporting a desperate plan of defense. Lieutenant Naomi Sato, at the helm of the military strategy, coordinated with precision. Her earlier doubts had evolved into a cautious alliance with the Titanic forces, and she now balanced the human imperative for survival with the recognition that nature itself had a role to play. Every command, every maneuver was a desperate attempt to align the disparate threads of science, myth, and military might. In the chaos below, explosions punctuated the morning air as alien warships, sleek and ominous, descended from the heavens. Their technology was unlike anything Earth had ever seen, radiating an energy that distorted the very fabric of reality. These invaders were not content with passive observation. They sought to dominate, to harvest the planet's resources, and enslave its inhabitants. The first skirmishes erupted over ruined cities and desolated countrysides, where human soldiers fought alongside the awakened Titans. Dr. Akira Hayashi, positioned at a temporary command center near the coast, monitored every seismic pulse and energy fluctuation. His instruments, calibrated to detect the heartbeat of the Earth, confirmed a terrifying truth. The extraterrestrial force was harnessing energy that rivaled even the primal power of the Titans. He recalled Kara's words in the ancient texts, understanding that this confrontation was not random. It was a culmination of a cosmic cycle, where humanity and nature would be forced to unite against a common foe. Mika Tanaka, amidst the swirling chaos, risked her life to document the epic conflict. Her camera captured not just the raw ferocity of the battles, but also the unexpected moments of unity. A battered soldier sharing shelter with a curious child under the shadow of a titan, a military unit halting their fire to let a wounded kaiju retreat to safety. In these fragments of hope, Mika saw the potential for a future where human pride and ancient wisdom could coexist. The tide of battle ebbed and flowed with each passing moment. Alien warships unleashed energy beams that seared through the sky, striking both human defenses and the colossal bodies of the kaiju. Yet, in a display of indomitable will, Godzilla and his kin absorbed the onslaught with a resilience forged in the crucible of time. Their roars, deep and resonant, became the rallying cry for all who fought for survival, a reminder the Earth was not a passive arena, but a living entity with a will of its own. As the conflict escalated, a pivotal moment arrived near a sprawling metropolis that had become a battleground between alien technology and ancient power. The city, once a beacon of modern progress, now lay in ruins. Amid the rubble, Godzilla squared off against a towering, alien-engineered monstrosity, a hybrid of machine and biological terror. Their clash sent shockwaves across the city as ancient might and futuristic terror collided in a spectacular, destructive dance. Each strike from Godzilla resonated with the force of nature itself, while the alien foe countered with precision that was both calculated and merciless. In the midst of the chaos, Lieutenant Sato and her military unit orchestrated a daring plan to disrupt the alien command network and disable their advanced weaponry. As human soldiers infiltrated the enemy's stronghold, coordinated strikes from both the Titanic Guardians and the newly unified military forces began to turn the tide. Dr. Hayashi's earlier findings provided a crucial clue. The energy patterns emanating from Godzilla and the ancient kaiju were in perfect harmony with the natural frequencies of the planet. By amplifying these frequencies, it was possible to create a counterforce capable of destabilizing the alien technology. In a makeshift laboratory at the edge of the battle zone, scientists hurriedly assembled an array of devices to harness the Titan's seismic energy. Their plan was audacious: to synchronize a global network of energy pulses, turning Earth's natural power against invaders. As Mika documented every frantic moment, she sensed that the human spirit was rising to meet an unimaginable challenge, a blend of technological ingenuity and primal unity. The climax of the battle came as the synchronized energy pulse was activated, a resonant frequency, amplified by the combined might of Godzilla and the other kaiju, surged across the planet. The alien warships, built on technology that relied on precise, controlled energy flows, began to falter under the overwhelming force of nature. Explosions rocked the skies as the invader system short-circuited, their once impenetrable defenses crumbling like ancient ruins. In the midst of the dissipating chaos, Godzilla let out a final, earth-shaking roar, a sound that carried both sorrow and hope. The Titanic Guardians, though scarred by battle, had proved their worth not as mindless destroyers, but as the Earth's chosen protectors. The alien menace, its hold on the planet broken, was forced into a retreat, its fleets vanishing into the depths of space as quickly as they had appeared. For a fleeting moment, silence reigned over the battered landscape, a silence laden with the gravity of survival and the promise of renewal. Humanity had stared into the abyss and, with the help of ancient guardians and the unyielding power of the earth, had managed to reclaim a fragile hope for the future. As the sun ascended once more, casting long shadows over the remnants of the battle, survivors emerged from the wreckage. Lieutenant Sato, Dr. Hayashi, and Mika Tanaka met amid the chaos, each silently acknowledging the cost of victory. Their eyes held a mixture of exhaustion and determination. The battle had been won, but the war for understanding and coexistence was only beginning. In that quiet aftermath, the earth itself seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, a tentative, grateful exhalation that echoed through the valleys and across the seas. The Titanic forces retreated into the shadows of legend, their duty fulfilled for now, leaving behind a world forever changed by their presence. Humanity, now united by a shared experience of cosmic wonder and devastating peril, would have to rebuild, guided by the lessons etched into the scars of the land. Thus, the battle for survival had not only repelled an alien threat, but had also ignited a new chapter in the saga of coexistence, one where the ancient and the modern, the mythic and the technological, would forever intertwine in the ongoing story of Earth's destiny. Chapter 11, The Aftermath and Emerging Shadows. In the days following decisive battle, the world grappled with newfound silence, a quiet that belied the inner turmoil now sweeping across nations and hearts alike. The remnants of shattered cities and scorched battlefields bore witness to a victory that was as bittersweet as it was momentous. Humanity had stared down an otherworldly threat and emerged triumphant, yet the scars of conflict ran deep and questions about the future simmered beneath the surface. As survivors emerged from the wreckage, communities began to rebuild amidst the ruins. Lieutenant Naomi Sato found herself at the center of this delicate reconstruction effort. Once the emblem of military resolve, she now faced the daunting task of forging unity in a world divided by conflicting views on the titanic forces that saved them. While many hailed Godzilla and his kin of protectors, the living embodiment of Earth's enduring spirit, others could not forget the devastation that had accompanied their arrival. Dr. Akira Hayashi continued his research with an urgency born of the recent cosmic revelations. In the quiet hours of early morning, he pored over the ancient manuscripts, seeking deeper insights into the intricate bond between humanity and these colossal guardians. His discoveries hinted at a fragile equilibrium. The Titans were not merely agents of destruction, but essential stewards of a planetary cycle that had, until now, remained hidden in myth. Yet, even as he uncovered clues to ancient wisdom, his data suggested that the cosmic threat was far from vanquished. Its presence lingered like a shadow at the edges of human perception. Mika Tanaka, whose camera had chronicled the fury of battle and the fleeting moments of compassion amidst chaos, embarked on a journey to capture the human cost of this cosmic encounter. Her lenses turned not only to the physical devastation, but also to the raw emotions etched on the faces of those who had lost everything. Through her poignant images, Mika sought to remind the world that even in the wake of titanic battles, the strength of the human spirit lay in its capacity for resilience and unity. Yet, beneath the surface of rebuilding lay the seeds of discord. A faction within the military, embittered by losses and fearful of a future dominated by uncontrollable forces, began advocating for complete eradication of all kaiju. Their voices grew louder, warning that the Titans, despite their recent heroics, could one day become an even greater threat if allowed to roam free. This extremist view clashed with the emerging consensus among many scientists and ordinary citizens who, inspired by ancient prophecies and recent events, believed that coexistence with the natural world was the only viable path forward. Amid these turbulent currents, Kara reappeared, a spectral figure whose insights were now more crucial than ever. She gathered small groups of believers and skeptics alike, urging them to look beyond the immediate chaos and to see the broader cosmic tapestry. Her message was one of balance, that the Titans were not demons to be slain, but ancient custodians called forth in times of crisis, whose power was interwoven with the very fate of the planet. In hushed council meetings held under the flickering glow of candlelight in makeshift community centers, debates raged over the proper course of action. Should humanity embrace the Titanic Guardians as partners in protecting Earth, or should they be confronted as unpredictable forces that risk triggering a cycle of endless conflict? These discussions, fraught with passion and fear, underscored a fundamental truth. The battle for survival was not merely fought on physical battlefields, but in the hearts and minds of those who now shaped the future. As the sun rose over a battered yet hopeful world, a new chapter in the saga began to take shape. In the shadow of recent victories and looming uncertainties, humanity stood at a crossroads, one that would determine whether the ancient guardians could become allies in a shared destiny or remain as ominous reminders of nature's untamable power. Thus, the aftermath of battle gave birth to emerging shadows and the promise of a future where the choices made in these fragile moments would echo through the ages, shaping the legacy of both humanity and its colossal protectors. Chapter 12. The Seeds of Rebellion. As the world slowly began to rebuild, the echoes of recent battles resonated through both human hearts and the very fabric of the earth. In cities still scarred by conflict and in quiet hamlets tucked away in the wilderness, debates simmered about the proper response to the Titanic Guardians. While many embraced the hope of coexistence, a growing faction emerged, fueled by fear and distrust, a faction that believed the Titans should be eradicated before they could ever threaten humanity again. In a fortified military outpost on the outskirts of a rebuilt city, dissent was taking shape. Hardline officers, frustrated by what they perceived as a dangerous leniency toward the kaiju, convened clandestine meetings in dimly lit rooms. Their voices, low and resolute, echoed off concrete walls as they plotted a course of action that they believed would secure humanity's future, by any means necessary. Lieutenant Naomi Sato, once a symbol of pragmatic resolve, found herself increasingly caught between duty and the creeping unrest that threatened to upend the fragile peace. Meanwhile, far from the turmoil of military politics, Dr. Akira Hayashi continued his tireless research into the ancient texts and the hidden history of Earth's guardians. In his quiet laboratory, he painstakingly pieced together fragments of lore, seeking answers to the questions that now haunted him. Were the Titans truly allies of nature, or did they harbor secrets that could one day spell disaster? His studies hinted at a cosmic balance so delicate that even the smallest disturbance, be it human or extraterrestrial, could tip the scales. In the midst of these diverging paths, Mika Tanaka embarked on a journey into the heart of communities that had witnessed the titanic battles firsthand. With her camera as both witness and storyteller, she captured the raw emotions of those who had lost everything and those who clung to hope. In one quiet village, an elderly storyteller recounted legends of old, a time when nature's giants walked the earth as benevolent protectors, guiding humanity through the trials of the ages. His words, steeped in the wisdom of generations, painted a picture of an ancient pact between humankind and the Titans, a pact that, if honored, might offer a way forward. Yet, as the seeds of rebellion were quietly sown by those fearful of a future dominated by unpredictable forces, a more enigmatic development stirred beneath the surface. Kara, the ancient guardian of lore and wisdom, sensed that the rising tension among humans was only one piece of a larger puzzle. In the dead of night, she met with a select group of trusted advisors, individuals who shared her vision of balance and the need for unity between modern civilization and the primordial power of the earth. With grave determination, she revealed that the celestial alignments foretold in the ancient prophecies were nearing their climax. The convergence of cosmic energies could either cement a lasting peace or plunge the world into an era of endless conflict. As the tension mounted, whispers of discontent reached Dr. Hayashi's ears. His latest research uncovered a disturbing correlation between the increasing frequency of seismic anomalies and the agitation of the Titanic Guardians. It appeared that the Earth itself was reacting to the rising human discord, a warning that the balance between nature and civilization was on the verge of being irreparably disturbed. In the shadow of these revelations, a covert signal was sent across global networks. A meeting was arranged between representatives of the rebellious military faction and a coalition of scientists, environmentalists, and even sympathetic military officers. The gathering, held in a secret location far from prying eyes, was a crucible of conflicting ideologies. Heated debates ensued over whether to harness the Titans' power for defense or to take a stand against them altogether. As voices clashed in fervent discourse, the horizon darkened with the promise of an approaching storm. The convergence of ancient prophecies, cosmic energies, and human ambition created a volatile mix, a crucible in which the fate of the world would soon be decided. In that charged atmosphere, every word, every decision, bore the weight of not only immediate survival, but also the legacy of a planet that had long been both nurturer and judge of its own destiny. Thus, with the seeds of rebellion sown and tensions reaching a fevered pitch, the stage was set for a dramatic turning point in the saga, a moment when the paths of science, myth, and human ambition would converge, defining the future of the Earth and its ancient guardians. Chapter 13, The Council of Convergence. In the wake of mounting tensions and clandestine meetings, a critical turning point emerged. A select group of leaders, from military strategists to ancient lore-keepers and renowned scientists, gathered in a secluded, neutral location. Their purpose was to forge a unified response amid diverging ideologies and a world on the brink of further chaos. This gathering, soon known as the Council of Convergence, was to decide whether to embrace the Titanic Guardians as essential partners in Earth's defense or to treat them as uncontrollable forces that required neutralization. In a dimly lit hall lined with relics of forgotten eras and modern digital displays, Lieutenant Naomi Sato, took her place among the council's members. Her steady gaze reflected the internal conflict between her duty to protect humanity and her growing belief in a balanced coexistence with nature. Dr. Akira Hayashi, clutching his well-worn notebooks filled with ancient inscriptions and seismic data, represented the voice of reason rooted in both science and myth. Beside him, Mika Tanaka shared vivid imagery from Frontlines, a visual testimony to the sacrifices and hopes of those who had witnessed the titanic battles. At the head of the council sat Kara, the enigmatic guardian whose presence bridged the gap between ancient wisdom and modern necessity. With an air of calm authority, she recounted the celestial alignments and the deep-seated pacts between humanity and the Titans recorded in the ancient texts. Her words carried an urgency that resonated with every attendee. The cosmic convergence was nearing, and the decisions made in that room would reverberate through time. The council's discussions were intense and multifaceted. Some members, still haunted by the memories of devastation, argued for a strict military approach, one that would involve advanced technologies designed to subdue or even eliminate the titanic forces. Others, recalling the ancient legends of benevolent guardians, contended that the Titans were Earth's natural response to balance, a force that, if respected and understood, could be harnessed for the benefit of all. As debate raged, Dr. Hayashi presented his latest findings. His research showed that the energy patterns emanating from Godzilla and the other kaiju were not random acts of destruction, but rather rhythmic pulses in harmony with the Earth's core. These pulses, he argued, were signals of a living planet striving to restore equilibrium after centuries of human interference. His data, corroborated by the ancient texts and reinforced by Kara's insights, painted a picture of symbiotic relationship, one where nature's titans were both protectors and regulators of life on Earth. Mika's contributions, drawn from her frontline experiences, added a raw, human element to the debate. Through her lens, the council saw not just the towering silhouettes of kaiju, but the faces of those who had suffered and survived. Her images underscore the fact that the consequences of their decisions would shape the future of every community on Earth. After hours of impassioned discussion and careful deliberation, the council reached a tentative consensus. They would adopt a dual strategy, one that sought to strengthen human defenses against the external cosmic threat, while simultaneously initiating a global program of research and dialogue to understand and, eventually, harmonize with the Titanic Guardians. A specialized task force would be formed, combining military expertise with scientific inquiry and the ancient knowledge preserved by Kara and her people. Their mission was to establish communication channels with the Titans, decode the full extent of the cosmic prophecies, and determine the true nature of the impending convergence. As the meeting drew to a close, the council's members recognized that this was merely the beginning of a long and arduous journey. The decisions made within that room, though fraught with uncertainty, carried the promise of unity, a chance to bridge the chasm between modern technology and ancient wisdom. With the celestial alignment fast approaching and the Earth itself pulsating with renewed energy, the world stood on the precipice of a transformative era. The Council of Convergence had planted the seeds of a fragile alliance, a beacon of hope amid the tumult. In the coming days, as the task force mobilized and the cosmos prepared its next move, humanity would soon learn that survival depended not on isolation or conflict, but on embracing the intricate, ancient bond that united all life on Earth. Chapter 14. Tensions Rise. In the days following the Council Convergence, hope hung in the air like a delicate thread, tangible yet vulnerable to the shifting winds of public sentiment. News of the Council's unified approach rippled across the globe, stirring cautious optimism among those who believed humanity might finally learn to coexist with nature's colossal guardians. Yet even as this optimism spread, seeds of doubt and fear took root among more skeptical factions. Within the military ranks, Lieutenant Naomi Sato found herself walking an increasingly precarious tightrope. Officially, she served as part of the newly formed task force dedicated to studying the Titans. Unofficially, she had to contend with the hardline officers who resented the very idea of cooperating with the creatures responsible for such widespread devastation. In tense, hushed meetings, she did her best to reassure her subordinates, reminding them that the kaiju had fought alongside humankind against a far greater threat. Still, every conversation felt like a battle of wills, and she could sense the undercurrent of dissent that threatened to boil over. Meanwhile, Dr. Akira Hayashi poured his energy into decoding additional fragments of the ancient texts recovered from the hidden city. Working late into the night under the glare of fluorescent bulbs, he uncovered more details about the celestial alignment Kara had spoken of. These new passages hinted at an event so vast and interwoven with cosmic forces that it defied conventional science. The text suggested that the Titans served as living conduits for Earth's energy, their every movement orchestrated by rhythms older than recorded time. It was becoming clear that understanding these rhythms, and learning to cooperate with them, was crucial for humanity's long-term survival. Mika Tanaka took to the skies in a battered helicopter, accompanied by a small media crew documenting the aftermath of the alien invasion and the slow rebuilding process. From above, she witnessed the contrasting realities of this new world. In some places, volunteers and soldiers worked side by side to repair infrastructure and offer aid, their spirits lifted by the Council's promise of unity. In other regions, protests erupted, loud, angry gatherings in which citizens demanded the immediate destruction or containment of every Titan on Earth. As Mika's camera whirred, she felt the weight of each image. Each sign waved, each fist raised, knowing these heated sentiments could easily ignite a new wave of violence. At the fringes of society, the rebellious faction that had once met in secret was growing bolder. They no longer trusted the official narrative that Godzilla and his kin might be allies. Instead, they regarded the Titans as walking catastrophes that needed to be eradicated before another crisis erupted. Underground channels buzzed with rumors of new weapons in development, devices designed to exploit the Kaiju's vulnerabilities and neutralize their immense power. Though the group's leaders stayed hidden, their influence leaked into the public consciousness, fanning the flames of paranoia. Kara, ever vigilant, sensed the planet's tension as if it were her own. In secluded temples once used by her forebears, she performed ancient rituals meant to realign Earth's disrupted energies. Through quiet communion, she called out to the Titans scattered across the globe, imploring them to remain watchful yet restrained. Whispered legend suggested that if the Kaiju themselves became too unsettled by human hostilities, the ensuing clash could dwarf any conflict yet seen. Even as Kara reached out with her uncanny sensitivity, she felt a looming disturbance at the edge of her awareness, a gathering storm tide of forces beyond the solar system, as if the victory over the alien invaders had only been the first act in a larger cosmic drama. Against this backdrop of mounting strain and suspicion, the newly assembled task force began its work in earnest. Military personnel, scientific researchers, and emissaries from Kara's people formed a precarious alliance, each with their own motivations and fears. The early stages involved everything from designing secure observation posts near Godzilla's known haunts, to analyzing the atmospheric and geological changes that seemed to spike whenever multiple kaiju converged. But as data streams merged and the pieces of the puzzle came into sharper focus, an unsettling truth began to emerge. The ancient prophecies' warnings weren't restricted to a single alien threat. Instead, they spoke of a protracted struggle, one in which cosmic forces, human ambition, and the Earth's own defensive measures would collide in a cataclysm of epic proportions. With tensions rising both on the streets and in the highest echelons of power, it seemed only a matter of time before the fragile peace shattered under its own weight. Though the Council of Convergence had given humanity a roadmap, the path ahead was fraught with pitfalls, and every misstep risked provoking the colossal guardians that now roamed the planet. In the hush before the coming storm, those who believed in coexistence clung to hope, while those who feared the Titans sharpened their blades, both sides unconsciously heeding an ancient warning. The fate of the Earth would soon be decided by the choices of its inhabitants, both great and small.